The universe learned too late why humanity said, "Try me, and see what happens." HFY Sci-fi Story. The stars were quiet, but they were never empty. Humanity had learned that long ago. Far from Earth, beyond the bright blue spiral of the old home system, human colonies spread across space. Some were small, just metal stations with farms and engines. Others were full worlds, with cities, oceans, and skies shaped by human hands. People worked, argued, loved, and lived normal lives under alien suns. Most alien races watched humans with mild interest. Humans were fast learners. They adapted quickly. But they were not the strongest, not the oldest, and not the largest. Because of this, many believed humans were harmless. That belief would cost the universe dearly. On the edge of human space, a long silver ship drifted near a red dwarf star. Its name was Horizon Dawn. The ship carried deep scan arrays, long-range weapons, and a crew that had seen more than most. Captain Ethan Cole stood on the command deck, hands behind his back. He was calm by nature, with short brown hair and tired eyes. He watched data streams flow across the main screen. Commander Lisa Grant stood beside him. She was sharp and focused, her posture straight. She trusted systems, but she trusted people more. Pilot Ryan Brooks sat at the helm, relaxed on the outside but alert inside. Engineer Jake Turner worked below decks, surrounded by tools and humming machines. Scientist Mia Carter studied energy readings at her station, her brow tight with concern. Something was wrong. 3 colonies had gone silent in the last 2 weeks. No distress calls, no wreckage. Just nothing. Mia broke the silence. "Captain, the signal pattern near Colony 7 does not match any known failure." Ethan nodded. "External cause?" "Yes," she said, "but not random. It feels deliberate." Lisa folded her arms. "Pirates," Ryan shook his head. "Pirates leave survivors. They like stories to spread fear." Ethan looked at the stars again. "Then someone does not want stories." Orders came in minutes later. Horizon Dawn was to hold position and observe. No engagement unless fired upon. Far away, in a region of space claimed by no one, massive alien ships gathered in silence. The Varun Dominion was old, older than human civilization by thousands of years. Their ships were black and angular, built for fear and control. They believed order came from strength, and strength came from force. To them, humanity was a problem that needed early correction. A Varun fleet commander studied a glowing image of human colonies. His people believed in hierarchy. At the top stood the Dominion. Below it stood everyone else. Humans did not fit neatly into that structure. They spread too fast. They asked too many questions. They refused to bow. The Dominion sent a message toward Earth. It was short and cold. Humanity was ordered to surrender 3 outer systems. Refusal would lead to correction. The message reached Earth in seconds. On Earth, the United Human Council gathered in a vast chamber overlooking the planet. Screens showed colony maps, fleet positions, and casualty estimates. President Daniel Ross stood at the center. He was not a loud man. He listened more than he spoke. Some council members argued for compromise. They spoke of survival, of patience, of time. Others argued for resistance. They spoke of history, of pride, of lines that could not be crossed. Daniel raised his hand. "They did not ask," he said. "They demanded." Silence filled the room. "If we give them systems today," he continued, "they will ask for more tomorrow." A military advisor leaned forward. "Sir, the Varun Dominion has more ships, more firepower." Daniel nodded. "We know." He looked at the screen showing human territory. "Send them a reply." The message was written in simple words. "No threats, no insults. Humanity does not surrender. Try me and see what happens." When the Varun received the message, many laughed. They believed humans were acting out of fear, hiding behind bravado. The Dominion did not delay. The first attack came without warning. A human border world named Halcyon was struck by a focused energy barrage. Its defense grid lasted less than 4 minutes. Cities burned. Oceans boiled. The planet died screaming. No surrender followed. Instead, something strange happened. Human colonies near the border began to empty. Transport ships moved day and night. Civilians were pulled back toward core systems. Supply depots were stripped. Stations were abandoned. The Varun advanced and found nothing to conquer. Then their ships began to vanish. An entire scout wing disappeared near an asteroid belt. Sensors showed brief flashes, then silence. A supply convoy never reached its destination. Communication relays went dark one by one. On Horizon Dawn, Ethan watched the reports come in. "They are bleeding," Lisa said quietly, "but they do not understand how." Mia brought up a model. "Human mind tech is old but modified, layered triggers, adaptive detonation." Ryan smiled slightly. "They fly in straight lines." Jake's voice came through the comm. "Captain, engines are ready for sustained combat jumps. I made a few changes." Ethan raised an eyebrow. "Within safety limits," a pause, "close enough." Ethan allowed a small smile. "Good." New orders arrived. Horizon Dawn was cleared for active operations. Their first target was a Varun listening post hidden inside a dead moon. They approached in silence. Ryan guided the ship through drifting debris. Jake cut power spikes to avoid detection. Mia fed false signals into the void. Lisa led the boarding team. The fight inside the station was short and brutal. The Varun soldiers were strong but rigid. They followed patterns. Humans broke them. Data was stolen. Systems were destroyed. The station vanished in a controlled blast. Ethan did not cheer. "This is just the opening," he said. Back on Earth, hidden shipyards activated. For decades, humanity had built ships in secret, not because they wanted war, but because they remembered history. Humans knew peace was fragile. Old treaties were unlocked. Band designs were reviewed and improved. One name appeared in classified channels again and again. Project Iron Resolve. In deep space, a new ship powered up. It was larger than anything humanity had shown the galaxy. Its hull shimmered with layered armor. Its core hummed with unstable energy. Admiral Carla Bennett stood on its bridge. She was calm, her voice steady. "Begin systems check," she said. The ship's name was Liberty Spear. The Varun Dominion finally realized something was wrong when a human fleet appeared in the Orion corridor without warning. Human ships did not line up for battle. They scattered. Gravity wells formed where none should exist. Varun formations broke apart. Command signals lagged. Ethan led Horizon Dawn straight through the chaos. They targeted a command cruiser. Lisa's team boarded it under fire. Inside, Varun officers shouted orders that no longer worked. The human team reached the power core and set charges. The cruiser exploded, lighting space with fire. For the first time in centuries, a Varun flagship was destroyed. Across the galaxy, observers took notice. Humanity did not stop. The Dominion declared total war. They promised extinction. On Horizon Dawn, the crew gathered for a moment of rest. Ryan sat with a bandaged arm. Jake wiped grease from his hands. Mia stared at star charts. Lisa stood near Ethan. "They will come harder now," she said. Ethan nodded. "Good." She looked at him. "Good." "They think this ends with fear," he replied. "They forgot something." "What?" Ethan looked out into space. "Humans do not scare easily," he said. "And when pushed, we push back." Far away, Varun fleets gathered in numbers never seen before. The universe held its breath. It had not yet learned what that simple message truly meant. "Try me, and see what happens." The Varun Dominion moved faster than anyone expected. Their black ships stretched across the void like shadows swallowing stars. They had numbers, firepower, and experience. They believed that patience and planning would crush humanity before it could fight back. They were wrong. Human colonies were empty. Humans had learned long ago that survival meant preparation. Mining stations, farming colonies, even entire cities had been moved or evacuated. Traps were left behind. Hidden minefields in asteroid belts, energy nets around gas giants, and modified satellites that could explode like stars waited silently. The Varun fleets rushed into these traps. Their ships were damaged, their formations broke, and communication lines were cut. On Horizon Dawn, Captain Ethan Cole studied the battlefield. Data streams filled every screen. Ships were disappearing in ways the Varun could not understand. Some were hit by mines, others by redirected solar flares, and some simply vanished. "They're learning," Lisa Grant said. She stood beside Ethan, arms crossed. "Our defenses are confusing them." "Confusing isn't enough," Ethan replied. "We need them to make mistakes. Predictable mistakes, that's when we strike." Mia Carter brought up a holographic display. "Their shields respond to energy bursts in a predictable pattern. Small bursts, long delay, I can exploit that." "Good work," Ethan said. "Jake, can we adjust weapons to hit those gaps?" Jake Turner grinned from his station. "Already on it, I'll calibrate the cannons to short bursts. They won't see it coming." Ryan Brooks leaned back in the pilot chair, feet tapping nervously. "Just tell me where to fly. I'll go there faster than they can blink." Ethan nodded. "We start with scouting wings near the Orion corridor. We cut their communications, slow their advance, and give our colonies time." The first strike was quiet. Horizon Dawn slipped through the dark. Lisa led a boarding team onto a Varun sensor station. The aliens inside were strong and disciplined, but they followed patterns. Humans did not. Chaos spread quickly among the Varun. Control lines were cut and the station went dark. Ethan detonated charges from orbit. The station exploded, leaving nothing but drifting debris. "They'll expect us to fight straight," Ethan said. "We won't. We hit, disappear, hit again. Keep them guessing." While this small battle raged, Earth was not idle. President Daniel Ross had activated Project Iron Resolve fully. Decades of secret shipbuilding, research, and planning now came together. New fleets powered by experimental quantum drives jumped into position. Ships that could outmaneuver Varun cruisers, penetrate shields, and strike fast were ready. Admiral Carla Bennett stood on the bridge of the largest of these new ships, Liberty Spear. She was calm, her eyes steady on the readouts. She watched the Varun fleet unknowingly sail into traps. Her crew moved efficiently, no wasted motions, no hesitation. She trusted them to do their part. She trusted humanity to do what humans had always done: survive and fight back. Human attacks became unpredictable. Varun communication arrays failed. Their ships, designed to dominate, were slowed by guerrilla-style hits. Horizon Dawn attacked fuel depots and command satellites while Liberty Spear moved behind enemy lines, using its quantum drive to appear where no ship should be. Inside a Varun command cruiser, officers shouted orders. Signals were ignored, satellites went dark, and fleets broke apart. A minefield detonated beneath the cruiser, sending it spinning into the void. The universe began to notice that humans were not like other races. Humans did not fight only for conquest or fear. Humans adapted, anticipated, and waited. On Horizon Dawn, Lisa checked her boarding teams. "We're ready for the next hit," she said. Ethan nodded. "Prepare for strike on the command wing near Kappa Station. We take out their coordination. It will buy our colonies more time." The boarding team moved in, silent and precise. Ryan piloted Horizon Dawn through a belt of asteroid debris, weaving between rocks as if dancing. Jake modified the engines mid-flight, giving the ship extra speed and agility. Mia adjusted energy emissions to hide their presence. The Varun inside the station had no idea what was coming. When the team struck, chaos erupted. Officers inside scrambled, confused by unpredictable human movements. Communications failed, power circuits overloaded. Lisa's team planted charges and evacuated in minutes. Ethan detonated the station from orbit. Another Varun command center gone. "They think they're strong," Ethan said quietly. "They don't know what patience is." Back on Earth, Project Iron Resolve continued to expand. Human fleets coordinated across multiple systems. Some appeared in one location, then disappeared in another. Gravity distorters bent the battlefield. Supply lines collapsed. Alien observers were confused. Some began to doubt what they thought they knew. Admiral Bennett led Liberty Spear in a daring maneuver. The ship's quantum drive allowed it to bypass enemy defenses entirely. It struck a command vessel from within the fleet formation. The explosion was precise, targeting power nodes and command modules without destroying surrounding ships. The Varun commanders were furious. They had never faced such a foe. Humans could have wiped out entire fleets at once, but they chose precision. They were clever, patient, and deadly. Ethan led Horizon Dawn on missions to harass the Varun fleets. Lisa coordinated sabotage teams. Ryan flew through collapsing debris fields to deliver critical information. Jake pushed the ship's engines to dangerous limits. Mia found weaknesses in shields and energy systems that no alien would have predicted. The Varun Dominion began to realize something terrifying. Humans were not afraid of loss. Humans grew stronger under pressure. Their strikes were not random. They were carefully calculated, adaptive, and relentless. 1 week into the campaign, Horizon Dawn returned to a safe orbit. Ethan addressed his crew. "They think we are weak," he said. "They think we panic. They will learn that humans do not break under fire. We hit, we adapt, we survive. That is our strength." Lisa nodded. "And next?" "Next," Ethan replied, "we take the fight to them. They will not stop at our borders. So we will meet them beyond the stars. We will show them what it means to challenge humanity." The universe watched as humans prepared. Colonies rebuilt in secret, fleets repaired and upgraded, intelligence networks strengthened. Project Iron Resolve had become a living system. Humans were no longer reacting. Humans were leading. The Varun Dominion sent more ships, more firepower, expecting humanity to bend. Instead, they found mines where fleets should have been, empty space stations and ships striking from impossible angles. Horizon Dawn slipped between their formations. Liberty Spear struck inside their lines, and humans used the universe itself as a weapon. Gravity wells, energy bursts, and quantum jumps made them nearly untouchable. One day, as another Varun command vessel exploded in orbit around a captured asteroid, the admiral of the enemy fleet admitted defeat in private communication. "They are not like any species we know. They are unpredictable." On Horizon Dawn, Ethan smiled faintly. "We're exactly that," he said. Lisa shook her head. "Unpredictable, yes, but this war is far from over." "We know what we can do," Ethan said. "We just have to keep them guessing. Patience is our ally and they have none." As human fleets spread their influence across the border systems, the universe began to see a truth that no alien race had understood. Humans were patient, clever, and relentless. They would not surrender. They would not beg. They would fight, adapt, and survive. And when the time came, they would strike back harder than anyone imagined. Far away, the Varun Dominion prepared a massive counterattack. Billions of ships gathered, shields glowing, weapons ready. They believed numbers and firepower would end the humans. They did not yet realize that humans were ready for everything. Horizon Dawn and Liberty Spear moved silently among the stars. Ethan and Admiral Bennett prepared strategies that no alien could predict. Mia worked tirelessly, calculating energy signatures, shield weaknesses, and fleet movements. Jake reinforced every ship under their command. Ryan trained tirelessly, ready for impossible maneuvers. Lisa coordinated boarding teams, moving like ghosts through the void. The first major battle of the war was near the Orion Corridor. The Varun advanced, expecting easy victory. Instead, they faced empty colonies, hidden minefields, and fleets that appeared where they were least expected. Communications failed, command structures collapsed, and their disciplined formations fell apart. Human ships attacked from multiple directions at once. Gravity distorters bent light and space, confusing sensors. Horizon Dawn struck at a key cruiser. Lisa's boarding team sabotaged systems inside. Liberty Spear appeared suddenly, firing on power cores from within. The Varun flagship exploded. Shock rippled across the galaxy. No one had ever destroyed a Varun flagship before. On Horizon Dawn, Ethan looked at the screens. "This is just the beginning," he said. "The universe thinks we are weak. Soon they will see the truth. We do not fight like anyone expects. We do not surrender, and we do not stop." And somewhere across countless star systems, the Varun Dominion realized that humanity's message had not been a threat. It had been a warning. Try me and see what happens. The universe was about to find out the war had grown larger than anyone had imagined. Human fleets moved like shadows through star systems, striking fast and disappearing before the Varun could respond. Every battle taught humanity something new. Every loss, no matter how small, became a lesson. Captain Ethan Cole and Horizon Dawn had become symbols of human resistance. Crews across the colonies watched their actions closely. When Ethan's ship moved, it seemed to appear from nowhere, attacking Varun convoys, sabotaging stations, and vanishing before the enemy could retaliate. Lisa Grant coordinated boarding teams across multiple systems. Each mission was precise. They targeted command centers, communication nodes, and energy cores. Varun ships were strong but predictable. Humans were not. They moved with flexibility, striking weak points in ways aliens could not understand. Mia Carter worked endlessly on new calculations. She had discovered patterns in Varun shield frequencies. Every ship, no matter how heavily armored, had small gaps. Humans learned to exploit those gaps with precise energy bursts. Jake Turner pushed the ships to their limits. Engines were tested beyond recommended thresholds. Weapons were recalibrated mid-battle to strike faster and more accurately. Ryan Brooks piloted through asteroid belts, gas clouds, and debris fields that no alien pilot could navigate. Every maneuver was a risk, but every risk had been calculated. The Varun Dominion began to show signs of panic. Their fleets were vast, but they lacked flexibility. Their leadership was rigid, their strategy based on fear and control. Human strikes shattered their command chains. Officers shouted orders that could not be followed, signals lagged or failed, and fleets drifted apart in confusion. On Earth, President Daniel Ross watched the reports with a steady gaze. The human fleet had grown far beyond what the galaxy had seen. Project Iron Resolve had become more than just a defensive system. It was now an offensive machine, capable of projecting human power deep into enemy space. Admiral Carla Bennett, aboard Liberty Spear, prepared for a new operation. The plan was simple but daring: target the heart of the Varun command fleet in the Kappa sector. Small strike teams would disable leadership vessels, while larger ships would support from distance. No civilian worlds would be harmed. Humans fought with purpose, not destruction. "This is where we turn the tide," Bennett said to her officers. "We show them patience has its limits." Ethan Cole gathered his bridge crew. "The Varun think they can intimidate us. They believe fear controls humans. They are wrong. We strike smart, we strike hard, and we never stop." The first attack began in silence. Horizon Dawn slipped past scout ships and turrets, weaving between asteroid fields. Lisa led a boarding team onto a Varun flagship. The aliens inside were disciplined and strong, but they lacked creativity. Humans moved unpredictably, sabotaging key systems and planting charges where they could do maximum damage. Mia monitored energy flows. She guided Jake as he calibrated weapons to exploit shield weaknesses. Ryan piloted through the station's interior, dodging automated defenses and security patrols. Every human moved as part of a larger pattern, but their actions seemed random to the enemy. The Varun flagship exploded, and with it, the morale of nearby ships faltered. Small human strike teams continued their operations, disabling more command vessels. The Varun fleet was in chaos. Ships drifted without orders, energy reserves dwindled, and panic spread. Ethan's voice came over comms. "Keep pressure on them. They are strong, but they are slow to adapt. Every strike teaches them to fear humans." As battles continued, other alien races began to watch carefully. Humans were different. They could have destroyed planets, but they did not. They could have attacked civilians, but they chose targets with precision. They did not act out of anger or vengeance. They acted out of strategy, patience, and resolve. One major engagement occurred near Titan Station. 3 massive Varun war moons moved into orbit, expecting to crush human defenses. Horizon Dawn led a small fleet to intercept. The battle was brutal. Dozens of human ships were damaged, and Ryan was injured during a daring maneuver to disable a war moon's energy core. Jake stayed at his station even as fire spread through engineering. Mia worked frantically to redirect energy, stabilizing shields while directing weapons. Lisa coordinated defense platforms, her voice calm even as alarms blared around her. Ethan made a decision. "We do not retreat, we adapt." He ordered Horizon Dawn to perform a risky jump, slipping between the war moons and attacking the central core. Charges detonated, sending massive energy waves through the enemy formation. One war moon collapsed under the attack, and the remaining 2 retreated in confusion. Human reinforcements arrived at the last moment. Liberty's spear appeared inside enemy lines, striking at supply ships and command vessels simultaneously. The battle ended with a decisive victory for humanity. The Varun had never expected such coordination and courage. News of the victory spread rapidly across the galaxy. Humans were no longer seen as weak or easy to intimidate. Other species began to reconsider their assumptions. Humanity was not only resilient but also clever, adaptive, and ruthless when necessary. The Varun Dominion attempted to regroup. They sent a fleet toward Earth itself, believing that destroying the human homeworld would end resistance. What they found was a planet prepared for war. Hidden orbital defense rings activated, ancient platforms rose from the oceans, and civilian ships assisted in evacuation and supply efforts. Ethan's fleet arrived to reinforce Earth. Together with Admiral Bennett, they pushed the Varun back. Every strike, every maneuver, and every sacrifice demonstrated a simple truth. Humans refused to break. They refused to surrender. They fought not because they had to, but because they could not do otherwise. The galaxy began to see the power of human patience and persistence. The Varun had underestimated humanity at every turn. They had assumed weakness, reliance on diplomacy, and fear of loss. Instead, they found strategy, unity, and courage. Humans learned quickly, adapted constantly, and struck with precision. Amid the victories, human leaders remained calm. Ethan spoke to his crew quietly. "This is not about glory. It is about survival. Every human alive carries the lessons of history. We fight not for revenge, but because it is necessary. And when it is necessary, we win." Lisa added, "They will try harder next time. They always do." "Let them," Ethan said. "We are ready. They do not know the limits of human resolve." In the depths of space, the Varun Dominion realized that humans were not just another species. They were something more. Patient, adaptive, and united, humans became unpredictable in a way that no other race had ever been. Every strategy the Varun tried failed. Every expectation was shattered. The final engagement of this phase came near the edge of human-controlled space. Varun fleets attempted a massive assault, expecting humans to crumble. Instead, human fleets appeared from multiple directions, striking simultaneously. Gravity distorters bent the battlefield, communication lines were cut, and the Varun command structure collapsed. Ethan led Horizon Dawn directly into the chaos. Lisa's boarding teams infiltrated the enemy flagship, disabling critical systems. Mia directed energy bursts that pierced shields. Jake pushed the engines beyond safe limits to outmaneuver superior firepower. Ryan executed maneuvers no Varun pilot could have predicted. The flagship exploded. Nearby ships fell into confusion, retreating or becoming easy targets. Humanity's patience and precision had turned the tide. The Varun Dominion began to withdraw, at least temporarily. They had learned that sheer numbers and firepower were not enough against humans. Humans adapted, and adaptation was their greatest weapon. On Earth, President Daniel Ross addressed the council. "They thought they could scare us into submission," he said. "They thought we would beg or retreat. They were wrong. Humanity has survived worse than this, and we will continue to survive. The universe is learning something important. Do not underestimate humans." Admiral Bennett prepared the next phase. Liberty Spear and the newly upgraded fleets would strike deeper into Varun territory. Humans were no longer defending. They were teaching a lesson the galaxy would not forget. Ethan looked at the stars from the bridge of Horizon Dawn. He thought of every colony, every ship, and every human who had fought and died. "We are not just surviving," he said quietly. "We are showing the universe what it means to challenge humanity. Try us, and see what happens." The universe had begun to take notice. Aliens who once dismissed humans now watched carefully. The war was far from over, but humans had proven that their strength lay not just in weapons or numbers, but in patience, intelligence, and the refusal to be broken. And somewhere deep in Varun space, commanders whispered warnings to each other. Humans were more than a species. They were a force that grew stronger under pressure. They were a problem the universe had not yet learned how to solve. Horizon Dawn and Liberty Spear moved onward, carrying human determination into the darkness. Every system they passed, every fleet they struck, every mission they completed reinforced a truth that no one had expected. Humanity did not surrender. Humanity did not beg. Humanity adapted, struck, and endured. And the universe realized too late that when humanity said, "Try me and see what happens," it was not empty words. It was a warning, a promise, and a truth no alien would forget. The humans prepared for the next stage of the war. The final confrontation was coming. The galaxy held its breath. The Varun Dominion had underestimated a simple species from a small planet, and humanity's response would change the course of history. Forever the galaxy was tense. Humans had proven they could fight, adapt, and survive against the powerful Varun Dominion. Now, they were ready to take the war into the heart of enemy space. Captain Ethan Cole stood on the bridge of Horizon Dawn. The stars outside stretched into long lines from the ship's jump engines. His crew was ready, trained, and determined. Lisa Grant monitored boarding teams. Ryan Brooks adjusted flight paths for impossible maneuvers. Jake Turner ran final checks on engines and weapons, and Mia Carter studied energy patterns in enemy fleets. On Earth, President Daniel Ross watched the preparations. Humanity had grown strong not by accident, but by careful planning. Decades of secret research and hidden projects had finally paid off. Project Iron Resolve had become more than a defensive measure. It was now an offensive tool capable of ending the war. Admiral Carla Bennett stood aboard Liberty Spear, overseeing the entire operation. The plan was simple: strike at the Varun command centers directly, disable their military control, and force a surrender. Civilians would not be harmed. Humans were precise and calculated, unlike the Dominion, which relied on fear. "Remember," Bennett said to her officers, "we can destroy fleets, but we do not destroy worlds. We show strength, not cruelty. We end this war smartly." The fleet jumped into Varun space. It appeared suddenly among their outer systems. The Varun were surprised, expecting humans to fight only at the borders. Horizon Dawn and Liberty Spear moved with speed and precision, striking key command vessels first. Lisa led boarding teams on multiple ships. They infiltrated control rooms, sabotaged communication arrays, and disrupted energy systems. Ryan piloted through debris fields and anti-ship defenses with impossible skill. Jake pushed engines to their limits to allow rapid maneuvers. Mia's calculations allowed human weapons to exploit the smallest gaps in Varun shields. On one flagship, Ethan led the strike personally. The ship was heavily defended, but humans had learned to fight unpredictably. They struck at power cores, disrupted shield matrices, and forced enemy crews into confusion. Explosions rocked the ship, but human teams moved with calm precision, evacuating before destruction. Nearby Varun vessels fell into chaos. Without communication and leadership, their formations broke. Ships collided, energy lines failed, and panic spread. Humanity moved through the fleet like a storm, hitting critical targets and withdrawing before retaliation. The Varun High Council realized that the humans were not fighting blindly. They were organized, patient, and relentless. Every strike was calculated. Every loss was planned for. Humanity's greatest strength was not weapons or numbers, but strategy, adaptability, and unity. Ethan spoke to his crew quietly over comms. They think this war is endless, that fear will control us. They are wrong. Patience and precision are our allies. We fight not because we want blood, but because it is necessary. Every move we make teaches them a lesson. Do not underestimate humans. Admiral Bennett ordered Liberty Spear to bypass the outer defenses of the Varun capital system using its quantum drive. It appeared inside the fleet formation, targeting command ships simultaneously. Explosions erupted, shaking nearby vessels. The Varun were losing control of their own forces. Lisa's boarding teams infiltrated the central defense platforms. They disabled planetary shields using reverse-engineered codes. Jake maintained the engines at peak efficiency. Ryan flew through collapsing debris to deliver critical payloads. Mia guided energy bursts through shield gaps, striking precisely where it mattered. The Varun flagship exploded in a brilliant flash, sending shockwaves through nearby fleets. One by one, human strike teams disabled command vessels, dismantling the Varun military structure. The Dominion had never faced a foe that combined patience, precision, and determination so perfectly. On Earth, President Daniel Ross watched the reports. The Varun were faltering, not because of numbers or technology, but because humans had outsmarted them. Humanity had chosen the path of strategy and restraint, proving they could win without destroying worlds. Ethan observed the final moments of the battle from Horizon Dawn. The remaining Varun ships began to surrender, sending messages of compliance. Humanity had forced the Dominion to understand that continued aggression would be futile. They had survived every test, adapted to every challenge, and struck with unstoppable force when necessary. Admiral Bennett contacted the Varun High Council directly. "Surrender immediately," she said. "Disarm your fleets, cease all attacks. We offer peace, and we guarantee safety for your civilians." The Varun leaders hesitated, finally realizing the mistake they had made. They had assumed humans were weak, emotional, and fearful. Instead, they faced a species patient, clever, and united. They had not seen humans act with such restraint, precision, and intelligence. Finally, the Varun agreed. Surrender was accepted. The war ended. Humanity had not only defended their territory, but had also taught the galaxy a lesson. Do not underestimate them. Across the galaxy, smaller alien species approached humanity with respect, curiosity, and a new understanding. Humans could have destroyed entire fleets and planets, yet they had chosen restraint. They had fought with strategy, patience, and intelligence. Their power was not just in technology, but in their unity and determination. Ethan stood quietly on the observation deck of Horizon Dawn, staring at the stars. He thought of every human who had fought, every colony that had survived, every crew member who had risked their life. Humans had won not because they were the strongest at the start, but because when pushed, they pushed back harder. Lisa joined him, looking at the stars. "We survived," she said softly. "More than that," Ethan replied. "We taught the universe a truth they will never forget. Humans fight with more than weapons. We fight with will, courage, and unity. We do not beg, we do not surrender, and we do not stop." The galaxy had learned something important. Humans were not reckless or fragile. They were adaptable, clever, and unstoppable when necessary. Every species that had dismissed them now watched carefully. Humanity had proven that their strength was as much in patience and planning as in courage and weapons. Horizon Dawn and Liberty's spear moved through the stars, carrying the message of humanity's resolve. Colonies were rebuilt, fleets repaired, and intelligence networks strengthened. Humans had survived the greatest challenge they had ever faced and had emerged stronger and wiser. Ethan spoke to his crew one last time before returning to human space. "Remember this moment," he said. "The universe tested us and we answered. Every human alive carries the lessons of survival, courage, and strategy. We fight not because we want war, but because we must. And when the time comes, we win." Lisa nodded. "We will be ready, whatever comes next." Ryan, Jake, and Mia looked at the stars, thinking of the battles, the sacrifices, and the victories. They knew humanity had changed the galaxy forever. They had not only survived, they had become a force no one could ignore. The Varun Dominion, once confident and ruthless, now knew fear in a way they had never expected. Humans had not only defended their worlds, but had forced their enemies to rethink every assumption. The phrase that had started it all, "Try me and see what happens," was no longer just words. It was a warning, a promise, and a lesson written across the stars. The war ended, but humanity's story did not. Humans would continue to explore, build, and grow. They would meet the galaxy with curiosity, strength, and the quiet confidence that had carried them through the darkness. And the universe knew, finally, that when humanity said, "Try me and see what happens," it was not empty words. It was the truth. Humans had survived, adapted, and struck back with precision. The galaxy would never underestimate them again. The end.